I'm attempting to do multiple things at one time. I thought it'd be kind of cool to, I guess, share some updates, but also try to maximize my time. Also, like I'm playing around uh, in the metaverse, and yeah, a couple updates, which I think are really great in terms of what's going on with Black AI media. I think we are at 15% completion, well, 15% upload in terms of the narrative Road to 100 interview series, but we're at 16 or 17% completion in terms of our interviews. So we're still pushing forward, but got a lot done in just about 2 months, a little over 2 months, which has been really cool. And thanks for everybody who's been supporting and tuning and all the guests. Um, it's been really eye-opening for me. I've learned so much just from everybody that's been involved. I've taken notes. I actually like rewatched the interviews because I mean there was some amazing stuff shared, and yeah, it was. I mean, it's just been amazing. So I really just appreciate all the learning I've been able to get personally, and I know that a lot of people I've actually talked to have also mentioned that they've been able to take some great stuff away from some of the interviews that they've heard as well. And yeah, it's just that I think that's just extremely impactful. Again, for narrative, it's all about telling our stories and kind of taking control, taking the reins on those things. And it's been really insightful for folks to be able to do that and be able to share what they're doing, right? Their work within the space. So that's been great. If you've noticed in all the episodes and interviews, I've also been proudly sporting the Black AI Media merch. So I guess one of the most recent pieces that I created was this hoodie. I mean, it's cold, so why not make a hoodie? But the cool thing about it is like it actually has embroidery. So it's like, this patch, it's a simplified version of the logo, but it's also stitched into the actual fabric. So it's not like a screen printed thing that will fade after a certain amount of time, like graphic T-shirts and stuff like that will. So that's kind of nice. And then related to just kind of building and growth and supports, it's been really awesome to see some of the connections being made, different organizations, and of course, even just like the guests in the places that they work or their businesses as well, being a part of just kind of the overall movement. I think the last time I checked in terms of reach, we were looking at, I think, at least the visitors and interviews have been accessed by people in, I think we're just over 50 countries, might be a little bit more than that even now. And some of that is very minimal, like maybe a few people, but it's been really cool to get some global reach and share what folks are doing. I just think that's really important. So yeah, just continuing to push forward with that. And also, it's been really great building out some of the other projects that I've been working on too. One being for melanated mathematics, There's a version 1 of the immersive learning platform that was produced in conjunction with Ed Prentice at Yep Nation, which was really cool. So uh, looking for opportunities and ways of deploying that for folks to have access, and for, I guess, for people to, I guess, to have awareness. Melanated Mathematics is math and financial literacy content in the context of Black history and culture. The immersive platform is set up and basically kind of looks like video game. If you're familiar with like the spatial style of the metaverse, as well as video games, like I guess the easiest one to lean into for name dropping purposes is like Grand Theft Auto. Kind of looks like that. But the emphasis there is the financial literacy components, and there are like AI NPCs or characters as well in that space, along with like different learning material related to managing money, real estate, stock market, and that was all created a few years ago in terms of the content that I wrote. And then there's actually an update to the content itself. So originally it was those 3 primary components, pillars, if you will, of financial literacy. But now you have an additional one, which is credit. I need to stand for a second. All right, look at this. All right, I think we're good. Yeah. So crazy with this movements. All right. So yeah, there's the credit component that was added. And for each one of those financial components, there is a character with a financial area of expertise. Oh, yeah, this second. Oh, okay. And each of those characters. Well, first, it was kind of cool because the characters themselves. Let me adjust this. The characters themselves were actually created by somebody I went to school with in like elementary school or something, and he is a professional artist now. And I wanted like different formatting of representation. So he's actually somebody who's always into like the anime style, Dragon Ball, that type of world, which is really cool. But some folks get really engulfed in like the comic scene is like their world, which I appreciate and respect. So I was like, yeah, man, you got to do these characters. So here's actually just I have a shirt here, just an example of one. And I think he did this as like I feel like it was like a parody. Like if you've ever seen me, yeah. But so yeah, each one of those characters has financial expertise. So there's managing money with Mindful Michael. There is real estate with Resourceful Rissa. There is stocks with Studious Stacy, and credit with Calculated Calvin. I think I'm gonna plug back into the matrix. So I'm trying to talk. So with each of those components, can I find my? Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. So there's financial learnings for each of those. And there's also AI chatbots in the workbooks that are embedded, which is kind of cool. So you can do that. And the Melanated Mathematics resources and content are also available on the Black AI Media site, kind of keeping things close-knit in one place. Along with those resources on the Black AI Media site. There's also a chatbot collection that I've personally curated through different media or mediums, I guess, platforms that allow the creation and use of free, basically open source bots for different use cases. So there's a section for education bots. There are wellness bots. There are creativity bots. Those are three kind of, I think, subjects or topics, headings that I've given. And some of the education ones are things like, for math, like there's a K-12 math bot that I set up for supports. I've done a lot of assisting with like the homeschool community, particularly the Black homeschool communities, especially during the pandemic, as there was an explosion in growth and demographic kind of participation there. And then, of course, science, things like that. There are also bots for kind of career exploration in supports and focus. So if you are a fellow educator and you are looking for a different career pathway, I think I have a couple options. There's definitely one. There's an EduHustle bot. EduHustle, which is the brand that I created a few years ago to support educators in their growth. And the mission of EduHustle was always to empower educators and guide them to maximizing their time, talent, and earning potential. So you can check out that bot, and it's basically like a educational ed tech career coach that you don't have to pay for. And then wellness, there's one that's like more so related to like plant-based lifestyle, because that's what I do personally. But also like plant-based lifestyle and fitness, as somebody who like only eats you know, I guess you can call it vegan diet, plant-based diet, but like still lifts weights and stuff like that. It's all common question. How do you get your protein and all that type of stuff? So I was like, well, I'll just create a bot that might help, and it also like assists me too. And then the other ones, creativity. So there's ones for like content creation, like meme creation. I think I did one for, and a few others related to creativity that are just kind of fun to mess around with. So check those out, as well as the Black AI Media bot itself, or Black AI Media GPT. And that one's focused on, of course, representation across the global Black community in the tech and AI space. So kind of has like lead questions or starter prompts around like Black-owned companies or founders. So those are cool. Related to kind of the Black history focus also, along with the narrative Road to 100 series of interviews, there's also been a campaign running called I Am the Algorithm. And that's basically like, I've seen a lot, especially when it comes to in education, or really in general. I mean, socials. But when it comes to like Black History Month, you might see like every day there's somebody being shared, a different historical figure. But I figure why wait until February to do that, especially if it's related to the tech space. So that's been a running thing of sharing a new person, a new professional CEO, somebody just doing work in the space across the globe. And again, that's called I Am the Algorithm. There's also some really cool t-shirts that created for that campaign too, for I Am the Algorithm, with like cool depictions. So if you haven't seen those, go to the merchandise section of the site. Those are really, like, I like the way that those turned out. There is also on the site. I think a lot of people have found benefit in, excuse me, found benefit in recently is um, the funding component of it. Like there's a um, funding page on this site, funding and scholarships. The scholarship that I created in memory of my mom is there, and then funding resources. Sorry, looking for my phone. Funding resources for like founders, people who are looking for like grants. I just pulled a bunch of resources and add them there. It'll be an ongoing thing that continues to be updated. So definitely check that out. But other than that, I really just wanted to actually jump on here because I haven't done it like a live in a long time. But wanted to share progress updates. And another thing, not related to Black AI media, not directly at least. I recently kind of had a resurgence in sharing and focus, repositioning even, of Cruded, which is focusing on hiring, particularly in the education industry, education sector, ed tech industry and sector, for professionals in the education space. So teachers, people who create curriculum, instructional designers, I mean, even some tech related folks. So we got some UX, UI people in the database. So there's a database of over 1,000 candidates, over 1,000 people working in education in some capacity, education adjacent. And with that database, it's simply sharing information, like things that are pretty much public anyway, your resume, LinkedIn profile, excuse me, and then there's also a section where you can add notes. So it's a simple form that educators would fill out. And then the cool part about it is that access to that database is set up through essentially an AI bot or an AI like agent kind of, where if I were an employer, I could set up, just basically create an account really quickly and easily. It doesn't cost anything, at least not at this point. It's open source. So create an account, go to the bot, tell it I'm hiring for a math teacher in North Carolina, and it will generate results based on that. And from there, you can click active links if they're available to go to that person's LinkedIn profile, look at their resume, and then from there, you can follow up, connect with them directly. For hiring managers, recruiters, folks like that who have direct access and have some say in the opportunities that are available in the education sector, because I know it's rough. Like the job market is very, I mean, it's stressful and taxing for a lot of people to have to navigate right now. So I figured, like, what's an easier way to try to create the bridge between candidate and opportunity? And it's like, well, why not infuse AI into it and make it quick? So hopefully people are finding value in that. We've had a couple of early adopters who did actually leverage the tool, which is kind of cool to get some feedback. And I mentioned in a recent video that I did, a walkthrough of it, that we're going from, and maybe I'll I don't know. I'll do my due diligence. I don't want to say out loud what I'm going to do. Somebody might steal my idea. But I think it'll be a interesting transitional consideration, going from the idea of like the MVP, the minimum viable product, to what I'm calling the WPV, which is the worst possible version, because I just realized that anything that we create right now, like number one, it's just important to get stuff out and produce, but also realizing that like that thing that you produce, whatever that uh, version of it is probably going to be like the worst that it will be, which is can be rough if you're a perfectionist, which is not necessarily the best in my opinion for a lot of this stuff, because it's like if you got a great idea and you can put something out, just do it. But um, it's also just realizing that like in a hopeful way, with iteration, that stuff will get better. So if you start off with something that's your WPV and it's actually good and it's useful, then I mean, kind of the sky's the limit and beyond. Right? Not only is going to grow and benefit and impact. So hopefully that's what I'm seeing with the stuff that I'm producing and what everybody else is out there doing. So, but yeah, other than that, I know that a lot of people are gearing up for holiday breaks and stuff like that, and enjoy that time, especially if you um, are spending it with family, loved ones, those nearest to you. Uh, yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for all the support. Peace.